Hello everybody, nice to meet you again. Welcome third year students, morning and evening studies. ST Coleridge. ST Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, was born in 1772 until 1834. Coleridge was studied at Cambridge University. He studied theology and philosophy. Coleridge is a poet, a critic, a dramatist, journalist, lecturer. He and his best friend Wordsworth suggested more functions of poetry. He wrote his own book named the Biographia Literaria, that is a narrative book full of chapters. So he is the co-founder of the Romantic movement. Like any other Romantic poet, Coleridge has some features in writing his own poetry. Number one, the supernatural. Coleridge is considered as the greatest poet of the supernatural in English literature. His target, his aim was to make the supernatural appear natural and real. He revived the supernatural as a literary force. He goes directly to the supernatural and the fantastic, and his imagination acquires true poetic distinction. Coleridge has the faculty to make the mystery actual, real, and obsessing. The supernatural objects are representations of our own inward desires. The spectral objects are conditions of our own mind. Number two, nature. What is nature for Coleridge? Coleridge considers nature as a divine spirit and believes in the moral and educative influence of nature upon man or a human being. That is why he is a keen lover of nature. Coleridge believes if we are happy, nature is happy. If we are sad, nature is sad. That is his belief in nature. Number three, a dream. He is the first and the finest dreamer in English poetry. He took a keen interest in illusions, hallucinations, magic, and dreams. A romantic poet in romantic school creates his own world of dreams, which is far better than this harsh, difficult, bad world. He escapes from this world into the mystical world dreams. That is some characteristics of Coleridge's poetry. So what about Frost at Midnight? Frost at midnight. The frost performs its secret ministry, unhelped by any wind. The owlest cry came loud and hark again, loud as before. The inmates of my cottage, all at rest, have left me to that solitude which sweets. Abstrusa musings, save that at my side my cradled infant slumbers peacefully. 'Tis calm indeed, so calm that it disturbs and vexes meditation with its strange and extreme silentness. See hill and wood, this populous village, sea and hill and wood, with all the numberless goings on of life, inaudible as dreams. The thin blue flame lies on my low burnt fire and quivers. Not only that fell, which flattered on the grate, still flatters there the sole and quiet thing. Methinks it is motion in this hush of nature gives it dim sympathies with me, who live, making it a combinable form whose puny flaps and frets the idling spirit, by its own moods interprets everywhere echo or mirror seeking of itself, and makes a toy of thought. Actually, my sweet students, this poem is so long you can keep just the text you can find on this video. If you would like to keep that text, just you can select any 4 lines from the text. You will enhance the answer in the questions or in the examination. What is the idea we can find in this poem? The frost as a character in this poem is secretly, silently performing its work without being held by the wind. All the inmates, all the people inside the cottage are sleeping, and the poet Coleridge is left alone. Here we find actually loneliness is a romantic feature. Loneliness is good in philosophical thinking. If you are alone, you can think more about something in your mind. For example, his infant beside him is sleeping peacefully in the cradle. All the natural elements are silent, quiet, sea, hill, wood, as dreams. We find also silence, another kind of romantic feature. The thin blue flame of fire is motionless. The film means the flame of the fire. We can take that from the incense. The incense. So thin blue flame is fluttering on the grate like stove, fireplace. Imagine that fireplace in a big house. The film is fluttering on the grate. This picture reflects a sense of sympathy between the poet and this film, because both of them are awake and active at the night. The idle spirit of the poet explains the irregular movements of the film according to his own moods and wishes. Then we find the poet, the speaker of this poem, Coleridge, yearns for his past. He wants to remember when he was a student at school. He used to believe that the fluttering film was a prophetic symbol, as someone will come. When he saw the fluttering film, he became excited and dreamed of his sweet birthplace, the old church tower whose bells rang from morning to evening, all the hot fair day. The sweet sound of the church bells, which was the only music, the only song for the poor people, considered as a symbol of a prophecy of future events. He looked at the film, thought of his home, then to fall asleep. Even in his dream, he dreamt of the same things, ideas in his mind. He was afraid of his strict teacher, so his mind was wandering here and there when he looked at his book. Coleridge. What is else about this poem? Coleridge is calling his baby, who's sleeping in the cradle in a quiet atmosphere. He wants to fill up the gaps of his mind when he thinks one idea to the other. Coleridge shows that his child, baby, will grow up and educated in a different life than his own. The poet himself was brought up away from nature in London, because at that time the poet was living in a countryside. He wants his baby to live in a city, for example in London, not like his own life. So he didn't find any beautiful sights of nature except the sky and the stars. He wants his son, his baby, to bring up a natural environment. Why? He wants his son to bring up a natural environment. Actually, the poet was at that time the poet himself, Coleridge, was living at that time in London. So he wants his baby, his child, to live in nature, just to be approached with nature, to touch, to communicate with nature, not like his father. So the poet himself was brought up away from nature in London. He can see, for example, the lights, beautiful sights and streets just in London. That's why he wants his baby to live beside nature. So Coleridge didn't find any beautiful sights of nature except the sky and the stars in London sky. Actually, he wants his son, his baby, to bring up a natural environment, surroundings. He will wander here and there like wind by lakes and sandy shores. His baby, his child, will see the beautiful shapes and hear the lovely sounds of nature. God teaches humanity. Coleridge wants to say that God speaks to us through the beautiful sights and the sounds of nature as representations of God. That is so enough information about this long poem. Thank you so much, my sweet students, and God bless you.